Hey guys, welcome back to Andy's Dinosaur Reviews, and today we are going to check out another of the Hammond Collection figures. This time we have the Velociraptor. This is one of 3 dinosaurs out currently in this line. There is the Baryonyx, which we have already reviewed, the Velociraptor, which we're clearly about to take a look at, and the Parasaurolophus, which will be up for review very soon here on the channel. And you can see as far as the box art goes and everything, it's exactly the same as the Baryonyx was, pretty much, but obviously shaped differently and sporting a whole lot of Velociraptor rather than Baryonyx. And you can also see that we have the Jurassic Park logo up there, which is super exciting to see the actual Jurassic Park logo. Really nice looking box art, nice image here of the raptor over here to the side. The only other set figure, actually, I should say, rather than set, that's out currently would be the Ian Malcolm, which is actually really nice as well. But you can see, again, the Jurassic Park logo over here. Nice image of our raptor. And then the Hammond Collection over here on the side. So let's go ahead and pop this out and check it out. So here is our Hammond Collection Velociraptor. If I can get him to stand. And then reposition the camera a little bit. There you go. And he looks pretty nice. Like, he's not that great. I mean, he's nice overall, I will definitely say that, but I cannot stand how large his feet are. They look just like he's wearing the biggest boots that are way too big for him, and he needs to head back to whatever store he got them from and get them resized. I think we'll have to wait for Rod's Random Work or someone to create more accurate sized feet to take care of that. I also am not a huge fan of how insanely thin the legs are. I think the legs are just way too skinny for me. There's like next to no calf muscle. I mean, there's a little muscle there, but like there's just no size in that calf. Like he's really been skipping leg day. But outside of the legs, I think the figure does look really nice for the most part. The coloration is pretty appealing to look at, not too bad. And of course we have painted nails, which is always a huge plus, and loads of articulation, which as well is a huge plus. But with the Baryonyx, like, the feet being larger wasn't really that big of a deal. I didn't think they were that big, but when it comes to the raptor, they're just really, really big, like, distractingly large. I honestly can't stop looking at the feet. It's the only thing I'm really noticing on this raptor right now is how large the feet are. So let's go ahead and jump straight to a closer look and see if we can pry my attention from those gigantic boots this raptor is wearing and check out the detail of the figure. So starting up here at the head sculpt of the raptor, I will say the head sculpt definitely looks nice. They have done a pretty good job overall on the head sculpt of our raptor detail-wise, and as far as the overall appearance to the head goes, it really does look quite nice. We have some nice tones of color with some lighter and darker shades of brown, similar to what we would see on a Jurassic Park Velociraptor. We also have a nice green eye with a black slit-like pupil, although the gloss coat isn't really as noticeable on the eye of this one as it is on most Mattel figures. You can see the teeth on the inside of the mouth look okay. I don't know what's going on the inside of the mouth of mine, actually. I take that back. Look at that. It looks so weird. It looks like for some reason this entire side is just open so much more than what you see on the other side there. So, I don't know why that is, but that is really ugly looking as well. The mouth doesn't open all that wide. You can see the detail inside the mouth looks okay, but the teeth here in the lower jaw and the inside of the mouth of the lower jaw specifically just looks absolutely terrible, if you ask me. And the entire thing, like when it's closed, it doesn't look so bad, so I'll definitely keep the mouth of this one closed, but once you open that mouth, that thing is on another level of ugly right there. So on the opposing side of the head, you can see that the paintwork looks really nice. You've also got a nicely sculpted out and painted eye over here as well. And the tones of color, I feel like, look pretty good when it comes to a Jurassic Park raptor. As you move back here, you can see the nice dark brown, and then we transition to a little bit of like a lighter greenish brown, sort of, before transitioning back to more of the dark brown. You can see as far as the detail goes, it looks really nice moving down the course of the neck. You have some more color variation here on the lower part of the neck as you move down here, as you have like a lighter kind of a tannish sort of a color down there. You have some nice creasing as you move down the course of the neck of the raptor. Once you reach down here into the arms, the detailing of the arms does look really nice. You have some nice skin detail as you move down the arms, nice muscle definition, as well as a beautiful hand sculpt out here, and the nails are painted very nicely with a glossy black, so they shine like they should. You also have some nice scoots down the fingers, and then moving back up here into the stomach region, I really do love the color variation of the figure, and I think the fine detail as a whole looks really nice. You can see the spinal column here running along the back of the raptor. Again, the detail as far as like the skin wrinkles and stuff and just the texturing of the skin looks great in the stomach region. We have some nice alternate coloration here on the underside, but of course it has to stop here before we even reach the groin area of the raptor. And with these, more adult-based figures, you would think that we would have that extra color variation running out here on the underside, but no dice, we just don't get that on these raptors. So even with the Hammond Collection figures, we still don't get that. Up here on the top, you can see again that darker brown leading down here and then meshing very nicely with the variations of like greenish browns and stuff that we have through the course of the raptor. Leading down here into the thigh, you can again see kind of like a striping effect with that darker brown running down the thigh. You have some nice muscle definition in the thigh. A little bit in the calf muscle, but it is just extraordinarily puny. And then you lead down here into the gigantic, unreasonably oversized feet of our raptor, and it just looks super off. Even the nails. Look how long those nails are. They just don't look right. The sickle claw looks good, but down here, these as well look very, very strange. We, of course, don't have paint on the dew claw back here. And overall, I think maybe this area wouldn't look so bad if the feet weren't so huge. The feet being gigantic are making this area look unreasonably thin. And then you lead up here into the tail, and as you lead out, you have more of those dark stripes, but of course, even they stop right here. As we lead out the length of the tail from there on out, we have no coloration at all to the tail. Beautiful detailing, but no coloration. We have a nice wire tail, of course, so you can kind of turn it and position that how you would like. Of course, you're not really going to see too much difference over here compared to what we had just seen on the initial side because it's an articulated, fully posable figure, so it's up to you how you would like to display it. But again, the articulation of the figure is really nice. You have some nice smooth articulation. You can move the head up and down and everything, left and right. You have the jaw articulation. You also have articulation here and then articulation down here in the neck, so you can really get a whole lot of posability when it comes to the neck area of your raptor. Same deal for the arm articulation, forward and back, and then out away from the body. And you also have elbow articulation, which all of this is incredibly smooth, and the arms have a very nice kind of like a squishy, rubbery feel, which as well is pretty nice. You have the articulation in the hips, as well as the knee, which was a little stiff, but we got it going there. And you can also swivel, of course. And then you have articulation in the foot down here. A little bit can go forward and back, swivel entirely again. So nice articulation there. You also have a swivel out here on the tail, and then a wire tail. Not quite as much articulation as what we had seen on the Amber Collection, because like we don't have the articulation in the sickle claw or anything, but it's still pretty nice what we have. And it's an okay looking raptor, I think. As far as the size goes for a length on our Velociraptor, actually let's straighten the tail out a little bit because I kind of have it curved. There we go. So for a length, you're looking at about the 8 3/4 inch range, or around 19.5 centimeters. And then if we actually kind of stand it up in more of an upright position, because it was really crouched just a second ago, we'll take a look here at the height. You're looking at just a little under 3.5 inches, or just shy of 9 centimeters. For a size comparison, there is Mr. Papo T-Rex, the Attack Pack Colovosaurus, and Robert Muldoon from the Mattel Jurassic World toy line, next to our Hammond Collection Velociraptor, giving you a really good idea of the size and showing you that it sizes up pretty nicely there with Muldoon, and overall is a fairly nice size, I would say, for a figure of this style, way smaller than the previous Amber Collection versions. And although it's not the actual Jurassic Park version of the Velociraptor, but we have an Amber Collection, the Lost World Jurassic Park version of the Velociraptor over here next to the Hammond Collection Raptor, so you can get a good idea of the size difference between the two. And my JP version of the Raptor, both of them are actually kind of like wedged in a shelf over here. I don't feel like destroying just to get the Raptor out for a comparison when we can just look at it next to the Lost World version to show you the size. But I will say that personally, I actually like the Amber Collection way more when it comes to the Velociraptors than what we have here with the Hammond Collection. I feel like the Hammond Collection Raptor is a little bit ugly next to the Amber Collection version, and the proportions just looked better on the Amber version rather than the Hammond. The feet were obviously larger on the Amber Collection Raptors, but not to the extent of what we see here on the Hammond Collection version. So In my opinion, the Amber Collection wins this round as far as the Raptors go, but the fact that we get numerous different species we probably wouldn't have had in the Amber Collection with the Hammond Collection kind of makes me a little bit more excited, of course, about the new Hammond Collection figures. And then for another comparison, here is your average Mattel Velociraptor next to the Hammond Collection version, showing you that they are a very similar size. The length obviously goes to the Hammond Collection version, but I think the overall body mass might be a little bit bigger on the average Mattel Raptor. And for one more comparison, there is the Hammond Collection Baryonyx next to the Hammond Collection Velociraptor. And I will say, once you see these two together, I think the line just makes a lot more sense and does look way cooler having them sized up to each other a little bit better. And you know, even though the Raptor is a bit ugly, overall, I feel like the Baryonyx is so insanely gorgeous that it really doesn't make a difference how ugly the Raptors are, because we've had so many Raptors in the Amber Collection that were really nice. I don't really think I care too much for the Raptors moving into the Hammond Collection. What I'm more interested in is all of the other species that we'll be getting for the Hammond Collection. Of course, I'll buy the Raptors when they come out, but it's not something that I'm like, oh man, I've been waiting years to have a really cool articulated Raptor. I've had tons of those now when it comes to like the Beasts of the Mesozoic and of course the Amber Collection. What I'm excited about are species like the Baryonyx and the Parasaurolophus and Ceratosaurus and things like that coming out. So even if the Raptor here is a little bit ugly, I still am insanely excited about the Hammond Collection. So this Hammond Collection Velociraptor, the Jurassic Park Raptor, it's not really that great if you ask me. I've seen so many people praising this figure online that I was like thinking I was absolutely going to be head over heels in love with it. It's okay, but the inside of the mouth is awful looking on mine. It just looks terrible. The gigantic feet, they're really big and just so distracting on this figure. If it didn't have the larger feet and the mouth was fixed, it would be an excellent release from Mattel, because I think the sculpt is beautiful overall, very highly detailed and pretty close to what a Jurassic Park Raptor looks like. The head sculpt may not be perfect, but it looks okay. And as a whole, I think they did do a very good job sculpting out the fine detail, and the paintwork as well is pretty nicely done. Like, for the most part, the tones of color look fairly reminiscent to what a Jurassic Park Raptor looks like. I think they did definitely do a good job there, and the application of the paint is nice and smooth and natural looking overall. I would have liked to have seen more of the dark brown running out onto the tail, and then some of the lighter coloration on the underside, but when do we ever get a Mattel figure where we don't have at least some slight complaints about the paintwork? And the articulation is pretty nice, pretty smooth overall. It's a pretty nice looking figure. I'm just way more excited about pretty much everything else that is not a Raptor coming out for the Hammond Collection. But if you are interested in this, I will include a link in the description to where you can pick this up on the Target website. So make sure you check that link in the description. You can go buy this one right now for yourself, of course, on Target's website or in store. And make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. And I will see you in the next review. Thanks for watching.